We get to hear from Andrew and Matthew and Ryan about their trip to Belize.
So, good morning. We were part of a bigger group. We had the Smiths there. We had Nancy Sampson. We also had another family from Central PA, the Martins, that were with us. And we partnered with Bold Hope to head down to Belize and to serve there in a little village called Saint Bite. Matthew and Ryan are going to do a little sharing, and then I'll share at the end.
Hello, everyone. I am Matthew, and this is what I felt about the trip. So at the start of the trip, I was feeling curious about what the experience was going to be like. We arrived in Belize on Saturday, and we had to drive all the way down the Seine Bight, where we would be staying. The drive amazed me as we saw incredible views of mountains and jungles. On Sunday, we went to church. Driving in the heart of Seine Bight, we could see poverty everywhere. The houses that people lived in showed deep poverty, and during the church service, a man named Kerwin was preaching that if you don't have God, then you have nothing. Another man was saying that he didn't have a job, but he was there sharing the gospel. It was so amazing to see what people go through, yet how they love God with all their heart. One of my favorite memories was working on the basketball court for the community. I made a lot of good relationships with the kids during this time. Also, the amount of kids helped painting was amazing. There's at least 100 kids helping, and we ran out of paintbrushes very quickly. I really learned what it means to be thankful and to love God with all your heart.
Hello, I am Ryan. This is what I thought about the trip. During the trip to Belize, I noticed a lot of differences from here and there. I noticed that there was a lot of poverty there, and it was very different and sad to see people living in a place that looked abandoned. I learned that you could work a whole day and earn $15, which could pay for one bag of groceries. One of the things we got to do was in the community to do evangelism. We went to the grocery store and bought 10 of the $15 grocery bags to the people who needed it. We visited them in their homes and were able to pray for them. One big job we did during our time in Belize was paint a basketball court for the kids in the community. It was very hot, but every kid there really wanted to paint. It took a few days to finish, but once we did, we had a big basketball tournament. Every single kid in Belize could play basketball amazingly well. We also did a VBS where I ran games with Dad and another kid named Tristan. The kids had fun because they were laughing and smiling. Being in Belize taught me to be very thankful for everything I have. I also learned you don't need anything except God, and the people in Belize had very little, but they did have God. Thank you for supporting us and praying for this trip. I hope to do it again in St. Bite to see and create better relationships with the kids we met this year.
So, just to add on to these great things they were sharing, you keep hearing them say with the idea if you don't have God, then you don't have anything. Like all we need is God, and that really stood out to a lot of us there because you just see there's not a lot of there to kind of like be excited about or feel confident in, and their confidence, their hope is in Christ alone. One of the missionaries there, his name was Reuben. He challenged us in the beginning of the week. He said, "Don't look at what they don't have. Look at what they do have." And it was a really interesting challenge for me, as you see here, this group here, this gentleman in the middle in the big group picture, that's Kerwin. He's been ministering there for about 17 years in Saint Bite, ministry with the kids, with basketball, kind of reaching them and teaching them about Christ, but also teaching them how to be young men and young women with character. And it's just been a beautiful ministry. And the thing that kept popping in my head throughout the week was that verse from 2 Corinthians, where in chapter 4 it says, "For this light momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison." And I've been telling people that I've talked to the weight of the words of what they've had to say. Like when they're speaking about the truth about who God is and what he's been doing in their lives, there is such a weight to that I think sometimes I forget to remember that truly God is all that we need. And that was just an encouraging thing serving there in Saint Bite and in Belize. So I know we're excited to be able to go again. And I just want to put a little plug. I encourage you, if you have not come, to do it, because it's a blessing. It was a blessing to be with these boys and to watch them be young men and kind of serve God in their ways. And it's just an awesome thing to be a part of. So thank you guys so much for your prayers and your support and your encouragement along the way.